This morning, a Georgia woman, she's waiting to be sentenced after she pleaded guilty to stealing more than $4 million from Facebook, where she worked as an executive.
Facebook's chief diversity manager has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for stealing $5 million. You can't make this stuff up. This is Barbara Furlow Smiles. Now, she was the chief DEI officer at both Facebook and Nike. Here she is in a video talking about the importance of her diversity work.
So I've always lived a passion-driven life. It dates back to just my time in high school. And that is what lit that fire in me, because I knew intimately what it felt like to be left out and not have a voice. And I said, you know what, my life now on is to make people feel included, to make people feel like they had a voice. I am currently the Global Inclusion Program Manager for our diversity engagement team. And I literally am hired to make sure people have a sense of belonging here. It's so fun because in this space, in this work, it's all about just behavior change. And that takes some time. But when you see people's behavior change because of something that they didn't know, that they now know, that transformed their life, that's the only thing that I need at night.
Well, that wasn't the only thing. It seems like she needed luxury homes and multi-million-dollar schemes to really make her happy at night. Now, she also made an appearance on The Breakfast Club during the pandemic selling unique face masks.
We got some special guests joining us this morning, Barbara and Ernest Smiles. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Good morning.
Listen, it is Black History Month, so we got to salute, great Black people doing great Black things. And these contraptions we're wearing on our face are the Smile Shields designed by Barbara and Ernest Smiles. Tell us what the Smile Shields are.
The Smile Shields are just basic customized face shields that you can put your own design on, your company, your brand. We have different styles, bedazzle, luxury. What else you want to tell me?
We also have different partners.
Now, Barbara was hired in Facebook in 2017 to be their chief diversity officer, and she was fired in 2021 after they found out that she was stealing millions of dollars from them. Also, right after she was fired from Facebook, guess what? Nike needed a diversity officer and hired her, and the government alleges that she started stealing from them and was eventually fired in 2023. So let's talk about how the scam worked at Facebook. Now, the prosecutors say that initially Facebook gave all of their executives credit cards, and the diversity chief also got a credit card. But Barbara had a great idea. She can take the company credit card and link it to PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, and then use the Facebook credit card to pay her friends and relatives, and then she would claim that these payments were for goods and services that the company never got. Her friends and family would then send some of that money back to Barbara as a kickback. Along with the credit card scheme, she also started making fake vendors using friends and family again. What she would do is have these vendors issue invoices for payment to Facebook. Facebook would then pay the invoice, and her friends and family would receive that money. But remember, Barbara would always get a kickback from any money received through this scheme. Here is what the U.S. attorney said at the time. Motivated by greed, she used her time to orchestrate an elaborate criminal scheme in which fraudulent vendors paid her kickbacks in cash. She even involved relatives, friends, and other associates in her crimes, all to fund her lavish lifestyle through fraud rather than hard and honest work. Now, the feds say that most of the associates were actually unaware that the funds were coming from Facebook and would actually return the money to Smiles in cash or via an account transfer. Now, so much money was coming in that sometimes the associates would have to take the cash and wrap it up in t-shirts and deliver it to Smiles. Another way she used her position to defraud Facebook is that she steered them to Black and brown owned businesses. Remember? She was one of the chief diversity managers. She was able to get these businesses approved as vendors for Facebook. Now, once Facebook had signed off on the deals, she would purportedly approve the fraudulent and inflated invoices on behalf of the vendors in exchange for more kickbacks. Now, after $4.9 million came up missing, Facebook eventually got wise to the scheme and terminated Barbara Smiles from their company. This is where things get even more insane, because after she was fired from Facebook, she then went directly to work for Nike as their senior director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As the feds allege, after being terminated from Facebook, she brazenly continued the fraud as a DEI leader at Nike, where she stole another six-figure sum from their diversity program. Now, this is the classic example of hiring somebody for what they are instead of who they are. Now, because Facebook had just been defrauded for almost $5 million, they reported it to the authorities. Now, the U.S. attorney then looked into it and everything was there. It's all on paper. Fake vendors, the credit card receipts. Now, with this mountain of evidence, all these witnesses, Barbara then just decided to plead guilty.
This morning, a Georgia woman, she's waiting to be sentenced after she pleaded guilty to stealing more than $4 million from Facebook, where she worked as an executive. According to the U.S. attorney, Barbara Smiles made inflated invoices to pay for, quote, a lavish lifestyle. This includes babysitters, preschool tuition, and hairstyles. Her sentencing is in March.
So at sentencing, the judge wasn't too happy. See, Barbara had done this criminal scheme at Facebook for all those years, and then as soon as she got fired from Facebook, went to Nike and did the exact same thing. So the judge sentenced her to 5 years in prison, and she had to pay back the $5 million she defrauded the companies. Now, the companies, both Nike and Facebook, made victim impact statements at sentencing. Facebook said the harm from Smiles' criminal conduct cannot be measured purely in financial terms. Her crimes also resulted in anguish amongst those employees that worked closely with her. Nike told the court that she was entrusted as a leader for the company, that she would embody the value of doing the right thing, which is one of Nike's key maxims. As Nike explains, to say that Miss Furrow Smiles violated our trust would be an understatement. The fraud committed by Miss Furrow Smiles violated the trust of the devastated employees who managed and worked with her. Nike also told prosecutors that a complete lack of accountability and remorse was incredibly disappointing. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't want to blame Nike and Facebook because they are victims in this story. But I will question their mentality in hiring people just based on the color of their skin. Essentially, they wanted to achieve diversity not by hiring the best person for that goal, but just seeing someone who has black skin and saying, okay, that person must be an expert in diversity, which obviously she was not. She was a grifter, a scammer. And she understood that DEI was the fastest way to get into these companies and get these high levels of trust. Because don't forget, she was the one approving all these payments. And then really think about her mentality. After doing this at Facebook for years, she then goes to Nike and starts doing it immediately over there because she saw how easy it was to scam them. Now, don't get me wrong, diversity is always a noble goal. But diversity just for the sake of diversity doesn't help anyone. And think about how much this actually hurts diversity. You hire someone because they're black, because they're a woman, and put them in this high-level position. They turn out to be this scammer, this person who's stealing millions of dollars from you. Now, you've essentially made it harder for that next black person to walk through the door and get that position. Because the one that you did hire wasn't qualified for the job, didn't have the moral character to run the position you gave them. Now, let's say you had a search and you hired the best person for the job who happened to be black. Well, if that person succeeds at the job, then that easily opens the door for other minorities to come in and be a part of the program. But the key point here is you're not hiring based on their skin color, you're hiring based on their qualification. Now, I know this may be crazy, but I still think the content on character is more important than the color of their skin. I know. It's a crazy notion in 2024. So now let me know in the comments section what you think about this story. Do you think 5 years is too long? Because some people out there saying, well, 5 years is too long, especially if you're going to pay restitution. I think, honestly, the scope and scale of this scheme, she intentionally defrauded both these companies. I think 5 years is a good number to deter other people from doing something like this. But I also think you have to blame Nike and Facebook for essentially hiring people because of the color of their skin and not what they could actually do or their qualifications. Now, don't forget, before you get out of here, like, share, subscribe to all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.